Hey there, good morning everybody. Welcome to the Sunday brunch stream. Happy to have you here. So good to be here with you. Polar vortex finally passed here, and we're back to kind of normal winter temperatures again. And boy, the other day it was 24 degrees here, and I don't think I've ever been so happy to feel 24 degrees. After seeing a whole lot of posting about the difficulties that folks in Texas are going through, I consider Austin sort of a second home. Joe lived there for 30-ish years. I lived there for 3 when we first got together, and I have a family history of vacationing down in Texas when I was young, so I have kind of a lifelong association with Texas. And so it hurts me to see people suffering down there, and so as I'm sure you're all aware, my loyal viewers, I want all of any tips that might come my way to go to an organization that's helping folks out down there after the recent power outages and water outage is called Austin Mutual Aid. I've been assured by my local Texas friends that see the people with boots on the ground that they're doing very good work there. And so I've got both my regular personal PayPal and Venmo on the screen here, but I've also got Austin Mutual Aid's direct Venmo. There's a selfish part of me that wants you to put it in my account just so I can see how much money he comes in. When it may be a little bit of I may be guilty of patting myself on the back a little too much, but there's part of me that feels good seeing the amount of money that goes towards the cause that I'm trying to raise money for. But please feel free to do it either way. If you do send it to me via PayPal, I will absorb the PayPal fees and turn the exact amount over to Austin Mutual Aid that you have donated to me. You won't be missing that chunk that's processing fees. Anyway, so yeah, let's see what we can do to help our friends in Texas out. We've had a lot of good times there for a lot of years, and have a lot of close friends there, all of whom, to my knowledge, made it through this okay, not without discomfort, but survived. But I think about folks who aren't as financially fortunate, and think of how this could be a total disaster for them. So it's good that there's lots of people and organizations helping out. So today's subject is a woman named Roba Stanley. No relation to the Stanley Brothers. She predates the Stanley Brothers by a lot, actually. So she, you might have seen my show that I did on Samantha Bumgarner, who was the first woman to record hillbilly music. Well, Roba Stanley was the second, and Roba Stanley was the first to perform on radio, first woman to perform country music on radio. And she's was from Georgia, and a little town called Decula, which when I initially started reading about her, I kept reading Dracula in my mind. She's from Dracula, Georgia, but it's Decula, and she was 14 years old when she recorded 8 sides for RCA Victor, I believe, and it's kind of astounding. And that's the extent of her career. She then married and moved to Florida, never to record again. Apparently, she did visit the Grand Ole Opry and was honored from the stage there sometime before her death, sometime in the 80s, I believe, or 70s. Lived to a ripe old age and didn't seem to regret not continuing her recording career, but she made a mark. This is a song that, if what I read is true, has become, a song that does get performed by bluegrass bands. It's called Devilish Mary. This one really reminds me of the Scots-Irish sort of influence. It sounds like it could come from the British Isles. So Devilish Mary, she sings, as a 14-year-old girl, she was singing some of these songs from a female voice and some from a male voice. This is one that the lyrics are just written as if it's a man singing it. Because she wouldn't have had the option of marrying Devilish Mary in this day and age. Devilish Mary. Oh, wrong key. When I was young and foolish, never thought I would marry. Fell in love with a pretty little gal, and sure enough we married. A ring-come-a-ding-come-a-dairy. Prettiest gal that I ever saw. Her name was Devilish Mary. We hadn't been married about 6 weeks. She got mean as the devil. Every time I looked cross-eyed, she knocked me dead with a shovel. Ring-come-a-ding-come-a-dairy. Prettiest little gal that I ever saw. Her name was Devilish Mary. She filled my back with old soap suds, filled my back with stitches. She let me know right at the start she was gonna wear my britches. Ring-come-a-ding-come-a-dairy. Prettiest gal that I ever saw. Her name was Devilish Mary. We hadn't been married about 6 months. Both agreed to be parted. So she up and left with her little duds, and down the road she started. A ring-come-a-ding-come-a-dairy. Prettiest gal that I ever saw. Her name was Devilish Mary. If I marry another time, gonna be for love, not riches. Marry a little gal about 2 feet high, so she can't wear my britches. Ring-come-a-ding-come-a-dairy. Prettiest gal that I ever saw. Her name was Devilish Mary. Ring-come-a-ding-come-a-dairy. Prettiest little gal that I ever saw. Her name was Devilish Mary. Devilish Mary. Marry a little gal about 2 feet high so she can't wear my britches. That's the future plan now that Devilish Mary is in the past. All right, so the next song is titled Little Frankie, and it is Roba's take on Frankie and Johnny, which is, widely played, widely covered folk tune. And this is another one where there's zillions of versions of it. And it occurred to me as I was wading through all the versions of this song that the folk tradition seems firmly in this cut and paste mode, where it's just, you'll find snippets of the lyrics that are similar in all these different versions, and but things that are completely different. This is the only lyrical version I could find where Frankie, who murders her husband, Alvin in this case, not Johnny, This is the only one I could find where she does not go to the electric chair or get hung at the end, and apparently that's the real life ending. So most of these crime stories that were popular in folk music at this time are based on actual events. They get exaggerated, but this cut and paste method makes for some pretty confusing lyrics sometimes. And they, as I was piecing together Roba's version of this, it's like sometimes she's talking in the third person, sometimes she's talking in the first person, sometimes she's talking as the voice of Alvin, not that Alvin, not the chipmunk Alvin. So Little Frankie, her take on Frankie and Johnny, which is Frankie and Alvin in this case. Let's see, how does this go? Frankie woke up one morning alone under the stars. I bet you ain't wonder Alvin's in the bar. He's my man, but he done me wrong. Frankie went to the bar room, called for a glass of beer. Said, Mr. Bartender, has Alvin been in here? He's my man, but he done me wrong. My little love is Frankie, I won't tell you no lies. He left here an hour ago with a gal named Alice Bly. He's your man, but he done you wrong. Frankie went to the bar room, a 41 in hand. Said, thank my loving people, I'm a-looking for my man. He's my man, but he done me wrong. Alvin saw her coming and turned around and run. She ran her hand in her pocket, pulled out the 41. You're my man, but you're bound to die. Shot the poor boy once, shot the poor boy twice. The next time she shot him, she took that poor boy's life. She's a man and he's bound to die. She shot him in the body, shot him in the breast. The next time she shot him, she killed that poor boy dead. He's my man, but he's bound to die. Turn me over, mother, oh, turn me over slow. Got shot in the breast with a 41 and the bullets pain me so. I'm your son, the only one. Well, a rubber-tired buggy and a rubber-tired hack, they pulled around to the graveyard and brought little Frankie back. He's my man, but he's dead and gone. And when they found little Frankie, they placed her on the stand. Said, Frankie, you're a free woman, go kill you another man. It seems so sad, little Alvin's dead. Little Frankie, Barry mentions Stagger Lee, and as I cover all these songs, there's so many lyrical and musical elements that cross over between them. It's pretty interesting, really. Another thing you really discover is. And I want to get deeper into this as I explore this early country music more. You discover how much of a debt is owed to African Americans for this stuff, because a good 30%, 40% of the songs you read about They talk about them being initially a quote-unquote Negro song that was, sung on plantations that, white artists have altered the lyrics somewhat, and so it's a really strange contradiction. You have, probably 1/3 of this material comes from a Scots-Irish tradition. 1/3 comes from minstrelsy, which is just racist to begin with, and the other third comes from actual African American music. And so it's strange to me that these white folks could maintain their virulent racism while owing 2/3 of what they do to the black people who brought them this music around them. But I don't mean to chuckle at that. It's horrible, but it's just a strange contradiction. All right, here's one called All Night Long. And this is certainly this is one that owes a lot to the blues. In fact, I think there were some subsequent versions of this song that are called All Night Long Blues. All right. My sweetheart went away last night. I don't know what to do. Every time he goes away, I feel so awful blue. All night long, all night long. I have a photo of my beau, I always keep it near. Every time I look again, it brings a sigh, a tear. All night long, all night long. I feel so nervous from this strain, I can't sleep no more. I get to feeling I'm a-gone up and walk the floor. All night long, all night long. A June bug has its golden wings, and a ladybug has the same. But a bedbug has no wings at all, but he gets there just the same. All night long, all night long. I went to reach for a pipe laying on the shelf. Sat back down upon her teeth, and then she bit herself, hollered all night long, all night long, all night long, all night long. All night long. That one I edited 2 racist verses out of the song. It's sad to think that she played with her father and a family friend on these records, and it's sad to think that her father at this age was feeding her this racist material. She was 14, remember, when she recorded all this stuff. But another thing about some of these songs, like that last one, I mean, you have 3 verses that are basically about missing a loved one who left, and then the rest of the song, it just seems random things thrown in that are just totally unrelated to the subject matter. The last verse is almost like a limerick. Went to reach for a pipe a-laying on the shelf. She sat back down upon her teeth, and then she bit herself. So it's just a little joke that's in there that seems to be completely unrelated to anything else in the song. But maybe that's how entertainment was back then. I don't know. All right, here's another song that there are a gazillion different versions of. It's called Railroad Bill. And this is also based on a true crime story about a Florida, Georgia a criminal who kind of rode the rails and escaped justice for a long time. African-American guy, of course, so it always makes me wonder whether he had actually even done anything wrong. Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill ought to be killed. Got my home in Lawrenceville. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill got so mean. Walked all the way from New Orleans. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill, you got so fine. Shot 9 holes through a single dime. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Drink up your whiskey, cross to the bar. Pistol shining like a morning star. Well, drive on, you Railroad Bill. 2 dice in Cuba, 3 craps in Spain. Spend all my money on gasoline. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Ought to have been there when I got paid off. Had more money than a walk-in boss. So drive on, you Railroad Bill. Went to Decula to get me some meat. Stanley Brothers, well, they sell 'em cheap. Well, drive on, your Railroad Bill. Went to Decula to get me some flour. Pool and pounds, oh, they sell 'em higher. Oh, drive on, your Railroad Bill. Going to Atlanta, I'm on the 9. Call up my honey way down the line. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Going to Atlanta, I'm going on that train. Talk to my honey till she changes her name. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Went down to the creek to take off and run. The first man I seen was Henry McClung. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Down to the creek to stay out of trouble. The first man I see was John T. Tuggle. Oh, drive on, you Railroad Bill. Went up to the mountain to get me a load. Met Sheriff Garner in the middle of the road. Oh, ride, 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 ride. The Legend of Railroad Bill. There's some lyric things that as usual strike me as funny in that one. So she's talking about her hometown of Decula, but the 2 lines, went to Decula to get me some meat. First of all, it sounds like you're going to the cooler to get yourself some meat, but no, it's Decula. Stanley Brothers sell them cheap. Again, no relation to the band, the Stanley Brothers, because this is way before them. And then the next line is, went to Decula to get me some flour. Pool and pounds sell them higher. So what I'm guessing there is that her family had a store that sold meat and was in competition with a store called Pool and Pounds. And so she was saying her family's store sells stuff cheap and Pool and Pounds sells it higher. all of which has nothing to do with Railroad Bill, of course, but funny stuff. And then I also have to laugh as a lyricist. Went down to the creek to take off and run. First man I see was Henry McClung. Went down to the creek to stay out of trouble. First man I see was John T. Tuggle. I don't really think McClung and Tuggle are actual names. I'm pretty sure those were invented to make the rhyme happen. But anyway, Railroad Bill. There it is. Now this last one I'm going to do of Roba's, Roba Stanley. And I will have performed 5 of the 8 songs she recorded, and a couple of them I couldn't find. I couldn't find any audio files of them anywhere. So, and then another one was so racist that I threw that one out. But this is the song that she's kind of most famous for, if she's famous at all. And it's called Single Life. And you got a 14-year-old woman singing the chorus. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. And she talks a lot about kind of getting it on with a variety of men, and so this strikes me as, I don't know if this is female empowerment when you have a 14-year-old singing this, but it gets touted as some sort of feminism, but I'll leave that for you to judge. Do not care for the pretty little things, always feel like dancing. Streets are lined with $1 bills, the girl is sweet and dandy. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. Some will come on Saturday night, some will come on Sunday. If you gave them half a chance, they will stay till Monday. I'm singing a different the wrong melody to this song. This is what happens when I try and learn too many songs at once. So I'm singing the melody to the first tune I did. So I'm gonna do what I have done in the past here. And I'm going to bring up that YouTube video to remind myself of the melody so I can do this correctly for you. There it is. All right, that's all I needed. Sometimes I need these mental clues. Let's try that again. Care for the pretty little things, always felt like dancing. Streets all lined with $1 bills, the girls all sweet and dandy. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. Some will come on Saturday night, some will come on Sunday. If you give them half a chance, they will stay till Monday. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I'm single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. Luke came in on Saturday night, I took him in my parlor. Every time he hugged my neck, he'd say, now don't you holler. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. Boy, fall in love with a pretty little girl, this talk as gentle as a dove. We'll call her honey and spend all all is money and sure is fine on love. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. Would not marry a red-headed boy, would not marry for the money. All I want is a brown-eyed boy to kiss and call me honey. Single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. I am single and no man's wife, and no man shall control me. No man, I am single and no man's wife. I say to you out there. That's it for Roba Stanley. Some pretty interesting stuff. I, as a songwriter, it's interesting to look back on the simplicity of these songs, which for the most part don't have choruses, let alone bridges, and you know, often are very repetitive. And I suspect that you know, a lot of these being fiddle tunes and in origin, just you know, they existed to keep people dancing, and you know, were not meant for you know, quiet contemplation. So Roba Stanley, brief but important contributor to early what was called hillbilly music at that time. All right, now it's time for George Jones, as it is every week, as I'm working my way chronologically through his singles catalog, and I got lucky again this week because this is a song I'm very familiar with, so it didn't require much learning, and it's one of my favorite George songs. It's called "What Am I Worth?" And this was co-written with a guy named Darrell Edwards, and I found out something that I didn't know until recently, was that Darrell lived near George's childhood home in Saratoga, Texas, and once George started having some success, Darrell tracked him down and showed him some poems, and the two started collaborating on songs. So this was a big hit that they wrote together, and they also wrote "Tender Years" together, which was another a big one for George. But love this song. There's lots of different versions of even George doing it. And certainly other people have covered it too. It's a really, really fun song to sing and play. What Am I Worth? It goes like this. I know Mama loved me, I reckon that Dad thought I was a pretty good kid. I've been blamed, but I'm not ashamed of a couple of things I did. I learned the golden rule before I started to school, like every little young'un should do. But what am I worth on God's great earth if I'm not worth nothing to you? What am I worth here on earth, darling, if I can't have you? I just can't find no peace of mind in anything that I do. I don't know why you make me cry, darling, would you give me a clue? What am I worth on God's great earth if I'm not worth nothing to you? Get sent to be the president, I'm sure I could do it for you. They would feature my face all over the place for all the good things I do. And I might get my name in the Hall of Fame, or even in the book of Who's Who. But what am I worth on God's great earth if I'm not worth nothing to you? I'm not worth nothing to you. Oh, how I love that song. What fun. I'm going to do one more for you today. I'm going to do one of mine. And I was thinking about this. I just have felt like playing this song recently. It's a song I wrote for the Waco Brothers. And I wrote it such a long time ago that, and I write such, oddball lyrics at times. I'm not sure exactly what I was getting at in this song. I know that there's some references to, subtle references to political corruption in this song, but those are almost asides. But I don't know. I have. It's funny to look back and have no idea what you were writing a song about. But this is called "Make Things Happen." I'm waiting for the sun to go down. I'm waiting for the sun to go down. Although it's spit shine in the daylight, I know there's a crooked underground. I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve. I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve. After all the half-truths and rumors, I hope you manage to stay a little naive. Try to understand, baby, won't you try to understand? Cut a path across this land and make things happen. Try to understand, baby, won't you try to understand? We'll cut a path across this land and make things happen. I promise my ship is coming in. I promise my ship's coming in. And when I cash in all my favors, the color will run to your cheeks again. Try to understand, baby, won't you try to understand? Scratch my back, wash your hands, and make things happen. Try to understand, baby, won't you try to understand? We cut a path across this land and make things happen. Try to understand and make things happen. Try to understand and make things happen. We'll make things happen. We'll make things happen. Make Things Happen. I performed that song for years before it actually dawned on me that I had subconsciously incorporated part of Heart's Magic Man in my song. Try to understand. Try to understand. So there's that. I'm sure that would not go unnoticed if I played that song for Ann and Nancy Wilson. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Give some money to one of these two places, if either directly or I'll make sure it gets to where it needs to go. Let's help our friends in Texas out. I'm going to do this, for at least a few more weeks on Sundays. So any money that comes my way on Sunday just gets turned around and sent right down to Texas. Let's help them out and spread the word. Tell your friends. Like and subscribe, I guess is what people say on YouTube videos. Anyway, thanks again for being here. Can't wait till we can all be in the same room together. As always, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, stay home if you can, and all that jazz. Love you all. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.